Hello, it's Yahtzee Crowshaw again, and this is my sidekick, a chimpanzee who imitates human speech by smoking a cigar with his bumhole.
Hey, the bumhole thing works, man.
Amazing how much he sounds like Gabriel, isn't it? And this chimpanzee recorded this week's video, so what do you have for us?
It is a Hugo 2 Whodunit. And yeah, you'll see up in the top right there it has sound on, which is fantastic because this game has 5 unique sounds.
And uses the PC speaker, I noticed.
Yep, good old-fashioned MIDI. I think this was a game from 1991, if memory serves.
This was the original, independent adventure game, from my understanding. Did you ever play those... did you ever buy those things you used to get in... Oh, they're classy, man. Classy.
No, see, there's the thing is, because it all has to be typed in, it actually acknowledges that you tried to fuck the maid in front of Penelope and chastises you accordingly.
That's...
It actually has a few of these built in where you try to fuck things and it goes, don't do that.
Why, that's almost an Easter egg.
Yeah, I discovered this playing this in 1991 and attempting to fuck every fucking item in the game out of just sheer lonely boredom.
Well, as I was saying, did you ever go to a video game shop and in the really cheap section they used to have 1,000 games for $10 on a CD?
Oh, yeah.
This series was like a staple of those things.
They weren't bad for their time.
They're pretty bad.
Well, there are, see, she has a headache. Women and headaches, am I right? 1980s stand-up comedians.
I'm just getting a really sort of bitter feel from you at this point.
They're on vacation. They just walked into the hotel room. This
was probably what they were hoping would fix up the whole relationship, you know?
It really has just collapsed terribly.
Kick-started, man.
Well, you can't just, foreplay, dude, foreplay. Maybe I should have done that. That was actually my fault. I'll take that. That's my bad.
So what's the backstory for this game?
Your rich uncle Hugo has invited you to his mansion.
Wait, I thought you were Hugo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Hugo's uncle. I can't remember Hugo's uncle's name. I'm not even sure. Horace, I think. Yeah, Horace sounds about right.
Perhaps I should get Gabe back and get rid of this trained chimpanzee, because he's not very smart.
Well, no, because we skipped the whole intro bit.
Well, we talked over it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It actually explains what's happening there while the music is bleating at you horribly. And in this one, you don't actually play as Hugo, you play as Penelope.
Yes, I have played this game a while back, because I'm quite into this kind of text interface adventure game. I think it's kind of a nobler adventure game interface than the point and click, you know what I mean? Yeah, this one does have weird little elements, because it actually has pictures and graphics. Horace, yes, I was right. Normally in a text adventure game you type look and it will explain all the different things that you can... Oh my goodness, someone pinned a medal to Uncle Horace's chest and he collapsed.
Where's his parade?
And you've collapsed as well.
And, what I can only describe as a fantastic cutscene. This really was like the Final Fantasy VII of our generation.
Penelope's not doing much to endear me to her at this point.
She doesn't do much of anything, to be perfectly honest.
She just seems like a frigid, floaty kind of bitch.
Yeah, she's a stump of a character. And then there's me trying to leave, and it's like, no, you have to go over and solve the damn puzzles as we...
Nice hint, game. Nice blocking off of the maps there.
Oh, it's fantastically well organized, this game. And that's the thing, because in a text adventure game you have to type look, and it'll tell you all the things you can interact with.
Yes.
This doesn't.
Right.
So it sort of relies on the fact that there are graphics. The thing is... The graphics are a mixed bag, and sometimes they're actually quite good. Like, you can see that's a bird. Sometimes they're just so abortively bad, you have no idea what the thing you're trying to interact with is.
Absolutely everything else in the room?
Pretty much, yeah.
What?
Ooh.
I choose to believe that it's Penelope saying that.
There's me trying to kill the bird.
Yeah, it's case in point.
I do an awful lot of stuff to try and spice up what's actually occurring on screen. Not an awful lot, but just a few things every now and again.
Is there something under the blotter? That was an old trick in this sort of adventure game.
No, but if you look at the desk, it opens up and there's matches. And you try to use the phone.
And you immediately drop the matches on the floor.
Yeah. Butterfingers. The line goes dead.
Oh my goodness. So presumably the police will now be sending someone, because that's policy when the line goes dead on 911 calls.
No, I didn't know that.
You're not going to be taking many balloons from over there, missy.
Yeah, it would actually say that. So you can type it in and then wait to push enter until you're actually near the thing. That's the other thing, too. You actually have to be relatively close to what you're doing.
Jesus, you must have the craziest calluses on your hands if the balloon just immediately burst the instant you touched it.
It's horrible harpy nails.
So is this one of those adventure games where you die every 5 minutes from the stupidest, least signposted reasons?
No, there are things that will kill you, and that's the weird imbalance that the game has. Is not everything kills you. Occasionally, stuff kills you, and some of it's quite unintuitive as to what's actually lethal. There are a few areas which are just doom.
See, that's what I like about these text interface games. You just entered the command use such and such, and the game goes, sorry, you have to be more specific than that.
Yeah.
In point-and-click adventure games, you can pretty much just click everything on everything to brute force your way through the puzzles. Couldn't really do that with this.
That is one thing about this game. Use is not a used verb. It is...
That's pretty much the reason I used a text interface for one of my adventure games, and I ended up having use thing to do thing regardless, because I thought it was more user-friendly.
See, here's another piece of actually reasonably good background. And here's another thing. You have 3 locations you can leave from. Yeah. That's
great contrast.
Yeah, there's 1, 2. And now, if you head right, and why would you? Because these 2 ways lead the same way, you actually end up somewhere completely different with a necessary puzzle item. Those are meant to be Venus flytraps.
Of course they are.
Yeah, they're also lethal, and there is absolutely no... I want you to spot the graphical relevance between how close I get to them and when they kill me, because I couldn't locate it.
What's with all the hundreds and the thousands all over the bottom part of the garden?
I don't know, it's like an 8-year-old's birthday happened over there.
Oh, is that a magnifying glass lying on the ground?
Yeah, I thought it was a mirror. See, I don't know what I got close to there.
Yeah, could have been either of them.
Well, that's the thing. There is a prescribed path through these things like that. And it has no relation to what is actually occurring on screen.
What the hell is a Venus flytrap going to do to a grown human being?
Those don't even look like Venus flytraps.
They didn't look like anything.
Yes, a completely new creation to the universe.
They look like the recently spawned piranha plants from Mario.
They do look a little bit.
The piranha plants have just let off their cloud of spores for the spring.
They've attached to Earth.
And this is the
gritty reboot.
The beginning of the miracle of nature.
Bonk.
Yeah, it's doing that thing where perspective doesn't seem to be a factor.
Oh god, again, about the graphics thing is occasionally there are areas that have really awesome perspective because the background was done by someone who could draw. And then occasionally it looks like it was done by me and I can't draw.
You know, what I seem to remember about the first Hugo game is that some of it was drawn like this incredibly badly, and some of it appeared to be clip art. I'm pretty sure on the opening screen of Hugo, the house you're about to go into is a clip art house.
Quite probably. I kind of wish they'd done that for this, to be honest. Oh, look, somehow I found the fucking way, and then look, I try to take mirror, and it actually snaps at me. That's just no mirror, like this. Yeah.
Oh, this game's getting sassy with you now.
It does that from time to time.
Do you have to type the whole thing, magnifying glass?
Yes.
You couldn't just type tape glass?
Nope. That's what I mean. You can't just type use dumbwaiter, which you would in any other game. I had to type get in dumbwaiter. And the same, there's a few other ones where you actually have to be really specific about what you're doing, and it's sort of irritating the first time you try to go through it.
Save stating like a bitch.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at this.
This room reminds me...
I managed to get out straight away anyway.
This room reminds me of navigating the tentacle maze in Space Quest 2. Only you could actually see where the boundaries were in that maze.
This doesn't help.
You know, I think those backgrounds that actually look good and look completely out of place against all the other backgrounds, I think they might have been traced from photographs.
That's what I'm guessing. And look, the gardener is planting some rape.
Yes, he's...
I love how that counts as a character. That's not like a person, that's just... Well, what's this guy's character? He likes dragging women out to his gardener's tool shed and just molesting them.
That's a sphere on top of a pair of trousers.
Yeah, you know the best part is they reused that graphic. That sprite was so useful it had to get reused.
You couldn't just maybe tell him to...
No, I tried to hit him, and it said I should curb those violent tendencies. So that's, there's a lesson, ladies. If a man tries to rape you, you should just, don't get violent.
Is that one of those text boxes we call patching up gameplay design cracks?
Pretty much.
Like that one bit in Dante's Inferno where a big text box comes up saying, "Go back, you're done here." which is incredibly out of place.
That's jarringly terrible. And yeah, you actually...
Not even dialogue from a character, just a big text box saying...
Really?
A text box in the form that has never appeared in the game up until then, just saying, turn back, you're done.
It's like the developer just walking on screen and going, hey, yeah, just this bit's finished, go away.
We could not think of any better way to loop things around at this point.
Yeah. See,
it's either a trace photograph or like a photograph with the contrast turned way up and then filled in.
And here's the opposite. Here's the maze, which looks like relief maps of the lizard's nutsack. It's just this bad the whole way through.
You know what? I've played Hugo 2, I have completed it, but the only thing that I remember besides the ending plot twist is how hideously obnoxious the maze section was.
It's fucking horrible. And it takes... I mean, don't get me wrong, I had...
Reference to Colossal Cave Adventure, I think.
I had the game FAQs out for this. I'm just like, no, I'm not going to draw my own map. I'm not going to wander around and figure this out.
I kind of like drawing my own map.
Yeah, but this game just slams you in the nuts obnoxiously with this maze. Like, it's unpleasant to look at. It's just horrible.
Well, it used to be a staple of the Sierra adventure games that this game obviously apes more than the LucasArts brand.
Yeah, LucasArts games were more fun.
I think most of the King's Quest games had a really obnoxious maze at one point. Oh, look, it's something that could be fucking anything.
Yeah, it's a gun, apparently. I tried to kill myself a few times. Boing.
Our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Heroine, rather. Oops, I think you emptied it, Buster.
Yeah, so that's one of the game enders, is if you shoot the gun at any point before you're supposed to.
Oh, but the game doesn't actually end, so you're just allowed to continue even though you've just completely ruined.
Yep.
You know,
I love that.
In adventure circles, we used to call this dead man walking syndrome.
It is the most obnoxious... I mean, if the puzzle elements were really logical and well organized, I could understand that kind of thing being in, but these aren't. This is a joke. Like, having that kind of game-breaking thing in a game where you use a shoe to open an elevator door and stuff like that, like, it's just obnoxious.
I like how the artist had done so much to prevent the background clashing with the sprites. Except not.
Yeah, and they have like this red stripe between Penelope's legs, which either looks like
something's dangling from in between.
Like it looks like a proto penis, or she wore like the low flow pads on a heavy flow day.
When she's like completely standing in front of the plain green path, it looks like she's halfway through getting Star Trek teleported.
Yeah, there she goes, sparkle, sparkle, and that's a bell,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and it could have been anything from a footprint to a small figurine of Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, that's why I was like, look at thing, because I genuinely forgot what that was.
You have to take your pleasures where you can, don't you? Ring, ring.
Ring.
Whenever I did like a text interface game, I always added like a bit of text if you wrote something like sing or dance about or run like an idiot.
Well, that's the thing, I just said fucking amazing and it said same to you, loser. There's a few of those in there.
I think it's just if you say fuck anything.
Except the few things that they thought you might try to fuck, like the maid.
They might actually genuinely try to fuck the verb.
Like the maid, why wouldn't you?
That is really a hideous attempt at a hedge.
I know, it's... And that's what I mean, like, it's bad even within this game, and it's such a long and involved part of the game, too. Like, this whole bit goes for, like, 5 freaking minutes.
And it's lovely that you can't walk past the bit of the hedge that you should conceivably be able to walk past, because it's not actually the bottom of the hedge that's blocking the way, if you see what I mean. Yeah,
it's ghastly.
Well, this is a thrilling game you picked out for this... for this video this week, man. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you put the ending in this time.
No, I deleted that. It's just the last 5 minutes is just me dancing to like old Twin Peaks themes.
Now that must be a spray bottle, yes? Just a bottle.
A bottle.
A bottle.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a spray bottle to me.
I tried to pee in it.
What the hell?
And it says try walking there, so I thought, all right.
I presume it was just reading the in part. Like, maybe it was assuming you were trying to say go in bottle or go in somewhere.
Go in bottle. Or go in bottle could count as well.
Yeah, because when you're working with a text parser, like, it's hard to tell which part of the phrase it's going to recognise.
I mean, I picked this because I really enjoyed it the first time I played it, because there were a few things I actually managed to figure out on my own, which for a...
I think I'm with your past self there.
I find that befuddling.
You're just shouting into the darkness, man. It's just an incredibly bad AI. It's not...
It's funny because there are elements in this that it feels like almost sort of a proto-you wrote, because you know that thing you say all the time, like that, a
proto what?
You.
Me?
Yeah, like this could have been written by you when you were like 8 or something.
Right.
Because it actually says a bunch, and every time it comes up with that, I just hear you saying that in my head, because you say that all the time whenever you...
Do I say
Yeah, you do that a lot. You just go, like when... I don't know, sarcastically, yes, but you still say it a fair bit.
I guess... it's not a common turn of phrase in other countries?
It sort of gets used here, but usually by, like, primary school kids and shit. It starts to fade once swears enter the market.
Yeah, it's a phrase, like, it's either used to express astonishment at someone else's wrongdoing, or to highlight a piece of innuendo in conversation.
This one gets used slightly for the innuendo-y aspect of it.
Would you like to grasp my rod? I think Penelope would be keen if you trimmed her bushes a little bit.
Well, yeah, she's got stuff hanging.
So was the developer of this English?
Yeah. It smacks on a lot of... yeah. I can't remember his name, but it didn't record because DOSBox didn't count it as part of the game, but at the end, it actually says, if you'd like to register this game, you can send $10 to this dude.
Registration.
Well, that's kind of a ballsy request, given that Beneath a Steel Sky is free. Like the actual company, the serious company that seriously made a game that has voice acting and cutscenes and excellent puzzles, said, you can have this for free. And the guy who made this is like, $10 would be nice.
Yes, well, I don't think he's expecting that to still be paying out at this point.
You know what? I kind of want to send him the $10 now just to blow his fucking mind.
And Beneath the Steel Sky was not free when it first...
Oh, no, but that's what I mean, though. It's still, like, if they were going to charge for anything, it would be Beneath the Steel Sky.
Well, man, that hedge maze has suddenly gotten a bit of a facelift since we gotten out of it.
Yeah, I love that. And the best part is that shitty bridge, wherever the perspective is completely fucked up, they actually count as the edge of the bridge. So when you try to walk across and you bump into something, you drop your book of matches and it's ruined. Yeah, and now the matches are ruined. So if you didn't save before that, like I did, the matches are ruined and you can't solve the puzzle and the game is essentially over.
Why didn't you just fall in and drown? That's the usual...
Yeah, and also all that stuff in the background there that looks like nothing, that's actually catnip. That took me a while to figure out.
What?
Yeah, because unlike every other garden location in this, I decided just to get stung by the bees because...
Maybe he was Australian. Stingaroo,
my joey.
No worries, mate.
No worries, mate. Drop matches. What are you buying?
So you can't go across the bridge.
Oh, you can. It's just... unbelievably fidgety.
But the only thing that falls out of your pocket when you do that is the matches.
Yeah.
Well, are you holding them in your teeth or something?
I don't know. I think she like tucks them up into her hair or some shit.
Are you trying to like keep them folded in like your belly rolls or something?
Between her legs. Just crossed her legs and was trying to get across the bridge with matches there.
Nice stationary water there.
Oh, it's catnip. Apparently that's what catnip looks like.
It looks like the airbrush tool from Microsoft Paint. Circa Windows 95.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's going back a ways. Yeah. That's what I mean, it's so jarring. Like that, if you showed anyone a picture of that, you could go, that's a gate from a thing. That's actually quite acceptable for a really, easy homemade game from 91. And then there's this.
And then there's this, yes.
And it's just like, that is a shitty rectangle made in paint. Like, that's a two-dimensional table. That's just horrible.
Hugo, designer, the airbrush tool is not your friend.
Yeah.
Have you seen MS Paint in the latest version of Windows? It's got anti-aliasing now.
Yeah, it's nutty, because I was trying to get someone to teach me Photoshop because I cannot use it. And someone just said, just use Paint, it's like just as good. And I was like, really?
It's a tricky proposition to teach someone Photoshop. Yeah, it depends on what you want to do with it.
It looks like one of those things where it's like, that's not an easily transferable skill. So I've just given up. I'm just going to hassle friends I know who have done animation and design courses to do stuff for me when I need it.
Anyway, how about that murder, eh? Seem to have done a lot of skipping through the hills.
Yeah. And yeah, this is me trying to get across, and again, there's a really odd, specific way, like your feet have to basically graze the top of the arch in order for you to get across, and finding the... Oh, that's the other thing, when you tap a direction, because it's controlled with the keyboard, you're not clicking or anything like that. When you tap a direction, she just walks in that direction, and you have to tap it again to stop it walking.
Yeah, that was the standard Sierra controls.
Yeah, and it's really fidgety. I remember the first time trying to beat this game, getting across the other.
Yeah, the early King's Quest games, I seem to recall, pulled similar bullshit with bridges and the perspective thereof. And staircases. Walking up and down staircases in early King's Quest games was the most arduous fucking thing. Until you figured out that pressing one of the numpad buttons made you walk diagonally. But if you didn't have a numpad, it was just right, up, right, up, right, up.
Yeah, trying to work it like a guy with 2 clitorises.
Oh no, it's...
evil old man.
It's...
See? Ooh, that's just the second that happened, I was like, I can see Yahtzee saying that.
I was going to say it's that blonde dude from Game of Thrones. The platinum blonde one.
Yeah. It does look a bit like him, too.
The brother
Targaryen.
Yeah, Targaryen, that's his name.
I want my golden crown.
What's he banging on about now?
I think it's a callback to the last Hugo game, or another game that they made.
Yeah, I think he might have been like the ferryman or something.
Yeah.
There's a bit in that first game where you have to answer trivia questions to get across a river or something.
Yeah, so Penelope ain't up for all that shit. Yeah, you crack him on the skull.
You have bludgeoned him to death.
Bonk.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of preferring Penelope's approach to problem solving. And you beat him to death.
Fuck yeah. Well, everything's got to end, even 200-year-old question askers.
Maybe next you could pour molten gold over his head.
That was a great scene.
Don't spoil things.
Crown for a king.
Oh, a snake.
And then I forgot to try and fuck the man. So I walked back.
I just like how you walked back to do that.
Whoop, forgot. Yeah, the snake.
I'm just remembered.
I forgot to molest that corpse.
Do you remember to molest the snake?
A little bit later I do. So yeah, basically the snake, it just follows you around and it gets in your way after it's bit you. And the bite is apparently lethal. I was trying to wait until it actually did kill you, and I just couldn't be fucked because it was taking too long. But apparently if you go through a few scenes, it'll go, oh, the bite got you, blah, blah, blah.
And suddenly we're in the middle of a street with an incredibly poorly designed TARDIS on the left.
Yeah, and...
It's like the entrance to a hotel in a phone booth.
The layout of the world that Hugo occurs in is dimensionally transcendental. You'll see that in a second. A murder, eh? Well, I'm busy, so fuck you.
Yes, I'll be back later.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, someone's been murdered. Well, they ain't getting any deader. I'll be there around 6-ish after tea,
Yeah, it's not like he's going anywhere, is he?
No. And then here's some graffiti and another amazing background.
Yeah, great perspective there. Oh, well.
I'm in Rome Street.
That looks like just a wall with a green band going along it.
I know, it's like when people show you those pictures where it's one thing or another depending on how you sort of look at it.
Is that one of those cases of there being a real phone
And that's
number?
what the bottle was for. You have to drink the bottle to cure the snake poison.
Oh.
And nothing in the game tells you that. You just die of snake poison. It doesn't.
What the hell just happened?
Yeah, it's like I say. You just walk any direction and you wind up in one of these 2 locations.
Oh, I think I sort of see what he was going for there. But as hideously badly implemented as you might
This
expect.
is exactly okay. This next bit is why I have fond memories of this game. It's probably the first major Easter egg I really found in a game.
It's
bearing in mind it was from
hardly a
91.
hidden Easter egg, isn't
Well, I mean, not hidden, but it's when for 1991 it was a cute reference that I liked.
it? Ooh,
Yeah, ooh.
Oh, is it actually a Doctor Who reference? Yep, of course it is. Of course it is.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and the planet's name is Computer backwards.
Yeah, and then I got to look at the Dalek.
This is kind of pathetic.
Yeah, it sucks terrible. But you get to shoot a Dalek.
And it can't even get you there.
Nah. Well, I'm in the TARDIS. Can't get me in the TARDIS.
Wait, is this actually something you have to do to beat the game?
I actually get a puzzle-solving item from the Doctor. He gives me the sonar screwdriver.
Well, that's not an Easter egg, is it?
Well, not Easter egg, but it's not hidden, but it's a reference. It's a nice, cute reference that I enjoyed.
I was going to say, is that like that phone number one of those cases of a phone number that's actually a real phone number in real life?
That would be funny, just to make a game and have
I
a
see,
friend's phone number in it.
Your actions there were sort of being spoken by your own secret desires.
Yeah. And as the Doctor's head is appearing into the grey rock.
I didn't realise Daleks could be killed with bullet-based weapons.
Well, what you're really there is you're asking a hell of a question that I could talk on for about 10 minutes, so I'm not going to.
Okay, and this game wasn't even when Doctor Who was popular.
No, it was 2 years after the series had finished, and unless you were reading the Virgin New Adventures novels, which I did.
Okay.
And yeah, I tried to pick up the snake. The snake just stays there, and it just gets in your way. That's all it does. It just follows you around like it's in love with you now. Like biting you is making you its wife.
Oh my god. Dog, you puppy.
That dog is so... Like, there's something just noble about the way it sits there. It's like, just look at it. It's...
Yeah. Why is the doghouse 8 foot long? Is it one of them human centipede dogs?
Oh, my beloved 3 dog. Or maybe it's like a bizarre dachshund cross thing.
With 8 legs.
Yeah.
It's a centipede. I think I can see where this is leading.
Yeah, it's leading where it leads.
Nice to keep us in suspense for a second.
It came up organically.
There are no stilks.
Well, that's like there's a weird delay. There's like a half-second delay from when you push a button to type and when it actually comes up on the screen, which is really jarring when you're trying to type. I don't know. It's like when you hear your own voice played back to you, like in a slight delay. It just fucks with your brain.
Are you burgling the doghouse?
Yeah. Okay, look in doghouse. Doesn't say anything. Look in house.
It's a kennel.
Yeah, well, house works.
In England, we say kennel, not doghouse.
And look, there's a stick of dynamite in the doghouse.
Of course, because the dog thought he might blow something up later.
The dog, like, is secretly part of the IRA.
The dog and the cat have a sort of Tex Avery relationship going on.
Gonna blow up a British pub somewhere.
And the cat's waiting around a corner with a frying pan somewhere.
Like Foghorn Leghorn and the dog and the lion painted in the yard.
Snake's going, hey, bitch, I haven't finished with you yet. Where my money, bitch?
You're mine. You're my wife. My poison flows in your veins. I've said that to girls. It doesn't work quite well. That exact line.
You have tasted my insidious venom.
My seed writheth within you.
So is this the kind of well that you have to climb down?
Yep. Have you ever seen a well that you could climb, that you could fit in, let alone climb down?
Well, there's little Timmy's always getting trapped down wells, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
But in venture games, yeah, that's pretty much all wells are for, to climb down. Not a lot of water going on in this well, I notice.
Yeah, it's more of like a well if you wanted a bucket of rocks.
It's a rock well. It's a rock well.
Rockwell. Yes. Sam Rockwell.
Ha ha ha.
And now I'm about to, set off some dynamite inside Sam Rockwell. Kaboom! And here's the other sound that the game has.
I didn't hear.
Oh yeah, we turned the sound down.
I turned the sound down so the mic wouldn't pick it up.
Count if you're listening at home. I'm sure there are only 5 unique sounds in the whole game. One gets played twice. I know that, so you may hear something about 6 or 7 times. But
there's something very eccentric about Penelope's walk. The way she keeps a straight back, like it's almost like she's permanently tottering.
Yeah. Maybe she has like a spinal implant or something. She has like a scoliosis or something.
If she leans more than a couple of inches forward, she just like collapses onto her face.
She could have 2 fake legs. I mean, that's, some really old-fashioned prosthetics that don't bend so well. They're made out of mahogany and
I just had a thought. There's a bit in Magic Land Dizzy where you have to climb down a well. And there's also a bit in that game, I think, that climbing down the well leads to, where you get a magic lamp with a genie in.
Video games, man. It teaches me that wells are exciting places full of adventure and fun.
Yeah, specifically with Arabian
Here
lamps.
is the most infuriating bullshit point.
Put a plank on it. Put a plank on it.
You'd think so, right? So I'm just that's what happens when you get I mean, there's that already, but okay, there.
Stellar program in there.
I skipped all of the stuff where I try to work out. Now look, all you have to do is walk down to a bit where you can't see. And walk across. There's no item you get. Okay, so the gap doesn't reach all the way. You just have to walk down here and then... Da-da-da.
That's fucking retarded.
Yeah, that drove me batshit the first time I was playing this when I was a little kid, because I had actually managed to solve the game up to this, and this is me thinking I'm actually clever now. I've solved one of these games, because the only other games I've ever played were like Sierra things, which were mind abuse, and then for that to be the solution was just...
Yeah,
because there's no way to figure that out. It's not like there's graffiti anywhere saying just walk down and have faith or something like that. No,
I would assume the puzzle was to find a plank and put it over the gap.
Precisely what I thought, and precisely what I attempted to try. I thought maybe I can stretch the book of matches now it's wet. I don't know.
See, I don't mind, kind of withholding certain things from the player, but I don't like lying to them. And that
is a fucking lie.
I mean, the player could conceivably say, look, and the room description almost certainly wouldn't say, "Oh, there's a little hidden ledge going across the chasm."
It does not.
Even though Penelope should have been able to see it from where she was.
Yeah. And now the genie appears, and it's actually the gardener who's just naked and wearing a flotation device on his head.
So you're going to rape you as well.
I don't know.
Press F1 to be raped.
Yeah.
F1 is the rape whistle.
Greetings, mistress. I am the genie of the lamp. And here's the thing, the genie doesn't actually do anything genie-like. That's what's great, because there's a trapdoor, and it's locked. And the genie wants a moldy banana, of course. And he goes up and just pushes the door open for you, and that's it.
Why didn't you just meet a monkey?
Or anything.
A monkey in the place of the magic lamp, and then you give the moldy banana to the monkey, and the monkey follows you to this trapdoor and pushes it open for you. See, I'm smarter than this game. Yes. Of course you don't fully understand your design.
Look in mouse hole. It doesn't do anything.
I was just going back to the Tex Avery sort of...
Touch mouse.
Touch mouse. Touch mouse. I want to feel your body.
That's amazing.
Have you got tetanus now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Or rabies or something.
And so, you got to work out... And then you actually use the sonar screwdriver. Yeah, press F1 for blow me. Insert penis into diskette drive.
Use. It's not gonna have that.
Open safe with screwdriver.
Well, that's not much better, really, when you think about it.
I know. That's. I mean, I think it is fair to use. You use a screwdriver on the safe.
Are we finally getting back to that whole murder mystery business?
Yeah. So it turns out that I think Hugo's going to be the beneficiary of all Uncle Horace's money.
Well, you will be less frigid now, won't you, bitch?
Money spreads legs.
We are two horrible men.
Back in the house.
Who respect women, really.
We totally do. Yeah, see, we respect women to the point where we feel comfortable and safe making these jokes, and knowing that our female friends know that we're joking, and that it's acceptable.
Yes, we might sound like a pair of smug twats. But if you met us in real life, you'd...
think we're really cool and want to hang out with us, and maybe sleep with us a bit.
Well, after 7 or 8 hours of conversation, you might start eventually suspecting that we might not be complete twats.
I like it when people actually do think I'm a horrible person. This is always more fun than the alternative.
Now,
Madame Penelope.
How about some lesbian action?
By this stage, I just want the game to end, so I actually forget to try to fuck the maid in the one instance in the game when I'm alone with her. I try to shove her. I try to push her over.
That's a great precursor to the next stage of things,
shove
isn't
it down.
it? Why is there a chimney belching smoke into the room where there is no holes in the ceiling where the smoke could escape?
Okay, look at this. When you look at the post, look at the description you get for the post.
Jesus.
It's the most detailed description of anything in the game, and it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I'm just reading the last sentence there.
Yeah.
Why is it there, then?
Because fuck you, that's why.
What are you doing now? Is this a puzzle?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I realized I was solving the puzzle before I'd even illustrated what the puzzle was. So I decided, all right, I'll ring the bell. And then in comes, Frenchie McFlaps.
Does that work in every room, if you ring the bell?
No. Because every other time when you ring the bell, it just says nothing happened.
She's a crap maid.
Yeah. And then, so you ring the bell and she comes in, and then you rub the bell with the catnip, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you give the bell to the cat. And then the cat plays with the bell while you're in talking to the maid, and the maid goes away. Yeah.
I thought it was a chimney with smoke coming out.
Legitimately?
Yes.
I thought you were being sarcastic. No, that's a cat.
No, didn't you wonder what I was banging on about?
I wonder a lot. I don't expect to understand.
It looked like a little, stovepipe chimney.
No, it's a cat.
The cat's tail was right next to it.
Yeah, it's a cat post.
Apparently it's a common mistake made in... especially comic book art, that you're advised to avoid, to make lines of art conjoin in certain ways, so it looks like one part of the art is part of another part of the art. And that cat's tail was directly touching the top of that post.
I really think whoever did most of the graphics for this game knows shit all about art. I mean, look at what we're looking at right now.
Well, fair point. But at least,
looks like a licorice all sort. At
least stuff like Penelope has various different colours to it. That cat was just like a black hole in the fabric of space.
Well, I mean, come on, depending on where Penelope is, half of it disappears into the background.
I think they got this wallpaper by gluing sticks of juicy fruit to the walls.
It is eye-blazing. It looks like there might be a 3D art puzzle, hidden in there somewhere. And
I think I can detect that there's sound going on here.
yeah, there is, and it's loud and unpleasant.
All the characters' names start with H. It's like the Yoke folk all over again.
There is, yeah, like I'm curious now, because it's probably like this real fashion of this going throughout British gaming in the late 80s, early 90s.
And now he's laughing maniacally?
Yeah.
Well, he's taking this news well, isn't he? Yes.
Suspicious.
Perhaps he knows something.
Look, see, Penelope's leg is disappearing that bit.
Perhaps Penelope could maybe ask him what he knows, but she doesn't because apparently she's some kind of high-functioning autistic.
Doesn't recognize Harry as anything else but the organ engine.
And it's another character for our list of suspects. Is she going to, burst into hysterical laughter as well?
That's the best thing when you go over, what the actual puzzles in this game are. Most of the puzzles in the game is trying to get back into the house.
Right.
This is, legitimately the last 5 minutes of the game are actually dealing with other people and clues. The rest of that, all that outside stuff, is just trying to get back in the house.
Oh, I see. She's a lush.
Hells yeah.
Oh, a life insurance policy. The plot thickens, except there's not much of a plot to thicken.
No, right now it's just thickener and a bowl. There's nothing.
I think
nothing
someone's just emptied a spoonful of corn flour onto a tabletop.
Look, behold.
So you're skipping past this text pretty quick. What just happened?
Well, she gave you some homemade wine, which knocked you on your ass, and is now talking about working at a winery. And she had a letter about the thing where she's, a beneficiary of some such and another.
Did she poison you?
Nah, she's just an old drunk.
I was watching a Let's Play of the Colonel's Bequest, a sort of Whodunit adventure by Sierra, and it has the same problem this game has, that you can find all these really suspicious things and activities people are doing, but
none of it actually relates to anything.
But you can't actually tell anyone about the stuff you've seen. What are you doing?
I went in there to think that it was a time-based puzzle, but it wasn't. I forgot there was something else I had to go look at. I mean, that's the thing, no one's actually written a mystery here. You're not solving a mystery. Nothing's happening. You're just getting shown stuff that has no relation to anything else.
Oh my god. A dripping knife.
I've been cutting
blood.
up some dead beef. Nobody says that. no one's. Hey, would you like some dead beef for dinner?
Yes, I've been cutting up some dead cow.
Yeah, dead beef. I like mine live and kicking.
Maybe it's like the maid and English isn't her first language.
I got chased by a cow once. It's scary.
Oh, look who's here! It's Hugo in a policeman's outfit. Either that, or someone.
And everybody else.
Someone couldn't be asked to ride more than one walk cycle.
Officer Higgins.
So now you have to finger the culprit. I didn't actually pick up on that when it came out of my mouth.
I always do. Within me, there's always going to be the heart of a retarded 13-year-old.
There's no body and
no witnesses, and maybe you're just having some kind of bizarre flashback.
And Cousin Harry is still laughing maniacally in the centre of the room.
Wrong. I know exactly what happened.
Okay. Yes. Hugo. What happened to him?
Well, that trapdoor, the secret passage we went to?
Yes.
Apparently it took Hugo here and took me to a completely different place.
Because of...
science.
Because of magic.
Yeah.
Or science.
That's what I mean. Come on, you couldn't just think for 3 seconds and make up a better excuse for what happened? I mean, the story should surely be the easiest bit. Getting all this stuff to happen, I'm sure.
That was my story writer laughing there. That was my inner story writer.
I'm not talking about easy. I'm talking about easiest not to make as clusterfuck stupid as this.
Right.
I mean, I'm not asking for, a fucking novel here. I'm asking for a 20-minute game to not have gaping plot holes. I mean, that's not a huge request, I don't think.
39-minute 47 game.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
Yep, that's how long this video is. Oh God, it's this puzzle.
Yep.
This is like this puzzle has a sort of legendary status in adventure games. There's like 12 different examples of this exact same thing.
And you know what? It never works in real life.
Put the newspaper under the door, push something thin through the keyhole, and there's enough space at the bottom of the door that you can pull the
Which
key
doesn't exist. It never exists. And look, it's Great Uncle Horace.
He's not dead. What an amazing twist that I swear I didn't know about before. Blah, blah.
And look, I was studying my new play.
Of course he was. This is like those old Silver Age comic books where the front covers showed like, and they're just going to like walk straight into that wall.
Bonk.
The end.
Yeah.
The old Silver Age comics books where it would show Superman with his hands around Batman's throat going, I hate you, Batman, I'm going to fucking kill you. And then on the very next page it shows they're rehearsing for a play or something.
There was
the rest of the plot's about biker mice from Mars or something.
I'd read a Biker Mice from Mars versus Superman and Batman crossover.
It almost certainly was at some point.
There was an old TV serial called King of the Rocket Men, which is actually what The Rocketeer was based on. And because it's an old serial, so you go to the theater to see this, every single little 5-minute episode ended with a cliffhanger. And my favorite, and the cliffhangers were always resolved unbelievably simply. Like, there's one where he's in a burning house, and it's like, what happens? And then the house explodes. And then the next episode, it just shows him walking out of the house like a minute before the house explodes. It just didn't show you that.
Well, if you're having a cliffhanger every 5 minutes, of course you're going to end up with that. Of course some of them are going to phone it in.
Yeah, the other best part was his little chest control device that controlled the rocket. He'd just turn it to up fast and then take off. Like, that was the two things. It was like up fast.
Whee.
Yeah, and
escape quicker.
Escape velocity. Defeat villain.
You know, I think now that we know the great twist at the end of this game, I like to re-examine this if we like go back to an alternate universe of the game where Penelope was like killed by the snake bite or stung to death by the bees
or something to death by the Venus flytraps.
Yes, and Hugo's just going to go, hey, where'd Penelope get to?
Where's my wife? I mean, we were having some difficulty, but I sure hope she's still alive. She's dead outside. Why is that? Why did we ever come here to your horrible mansion, Horace?
Yes, I just feel, for the fact that at the start, that now we've revealed there wasn't actually an intrigue going on at all.
Nothing was happening.
Suddenly, Penelope being dead would kind of be the intrigue, wouldn't it?
I mean, and if you take away the stupid deaths like, the snake and the bees and the Venus flytraps, she was still lighting dynamite at one point. And that's that's a thing that humans can do that's not safe. Like, if I found dynamite, I'd give it to somebody else, because I know I'd light it and I know I'd kill myself, and I know enough to keep my stupid hands off dangerous things.
She was like risking triggering a fatal cave-in.
Yeah, I know. And, what
Horace is saying, so what happened to that high-functioning autistic girlfriend of yours? You didn't leave her alone, did you?
I don't know.
Next thing you know, she'll be spreading Vegemite on the cat.
Maybe she's like, what was that Liam Neeson movie, Nell, where he like found that girl in the forest and like taught her how to be human? I think that's what Penelope is. I think she was like...
she was raised by weasels or something.
Yeah, stoats. I want to say stoats. She was raised by stoats.
Or voles.
Yeah. Every time she's left alone for more than 5 minutes, she tries to borrow a little hole.
Well, that was a pretty terrible adventure game.
Yeah, I know. We have to pick something fun, and I think I'd like to the both of us record while we play Beneath a Steel Sky and try to work it out as we go.
See, I don't know about that, because Beneath a Steel Sky, A, it's good.
Yeah.
And B...
perhaps something else, something shittier. Rex Nebula and the Cosmic Gender Bender.
I remember that game.
Yeah, so do I. It had gender in the title, so I was like, there might be boobs.
I think I like it best when one of us has played the game and the other one hasn't. And we just sort of like get both an experienced reaction and a new reaction.
Well, I mean, it's hard to pick games. Are you leaning towards something for the next one?
I haven't had any thoughts. I guess we're still doing adventure games because they're the best ones to talk about. Because if you just play something like a platformer, there's a whole lot of stuff there's a whole lot of points where there's nothing to talk about because you're just doing platforms.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to do like Alex Kidd in Shinobi World and just point out what a baffling idea that is. I mean, it'd be like Nintendo releasing Super Mario in Luigi's Mansion.
But that doesn't carry you through the whole game, does it?
Fuck no, that is one joke, and it's over within seconds, and then it's just boring. I mean, that game's kind of interesting for all the copyright infringement that goes on in it.
I've played a lot of shitty adventure games, though.
Oh, yeah, because they were, like this, they were just so easy to make. You didn't have to coordinate anything. You could write an abortively bad story and thread a game around it.
I wish things were still like that. I could make games like the kind of games I made in 2003 and go back in time and release them in 91, and I could have made actual money from the things.
Yeah, people could still be sending you $10 for registration for Hugo's...
To like an address I lived at 5 addresses ago.
Trilby's House of Haberdashery.
Well, any final thoughts?
That game does not stand up after the years.
And kids, don't go pinning medals to old people. They can't take it.
While people might be looking at you through keyholes. Keyholes don't give you the full story. I think that's what we've learned.
And don't drink mysterious wine that your elderly lush aunt is handing you.
Don't drink things you find in jars in hedge mazes.
Don't provoke snakes, because you are then the snake's wife.
Just shoot at Daleks, they die that way. Trust dog dynamite.
And attempt to have forced sexual intercourse with every single living thing you encounter.
It's like I have a twin.
See you next time, folks. Hello, it's Yahtzee Crowshaw again, and this is my sidekick, a chimpanzee who imitates human speech by smoking a cigar with his bumhole.
Hey, the bumhole thing works, man.
Amazing how much he sounds like Gabriel, isn't it? And this chimpanzee recorded this week's video, so what do you have for us?
It is a Hugo 2 Whodunit. And yeah, you'll see up in the top right there it has sound on, which is fantastic because this game has 5 unique sounds.
And uses the PC speaker, I noticed.
Yep, good old-fashioned MIDI. I think this was a game from 1991, if memory serves.
This was the original... independent adventure game, from my understanding. Did you ever play those, did you ever buy those things you used to get in... Oh, they're classy, man. Classy.
No, you see, there's the thing, is because it all has to be typed in, it actually acknowledges that you tried to fuck the maid in front of Penelope and chastises you accordingly.
That's,
It actually has a few of these built in where you try to fuck things and it goes, don't do that.
Why, that's almost an Easter egg.
Yeah, I discovered this playing this in 1991 and attempting to fuck every fucking item in the game out of just sheer lonely boredom.
Well, as I was saying, did you ever go to like a video game shop and in the really cheap section they used to have 1,000 games for $10 on a CD?
Oh, yeah.
This series was like a staple of those things.
They weren't bad for their time.
They're pretty bad.
Well, there are, see, she has a headache. Women and headaches, am I right? 1980s stand-up comedians.
I'm just getting a really sort of bitter feel from you at this point.
They're on vacation. They just walked into the hotel room.
This was probably what they were hoping would fix up the whole relationship, you know?
It really has just collapsed terribly.
Kick-started, man.
Well, you can't just, foreplay, dude, foreplay. Maybe I should have done that. That was actually my fault. I'll take that. That's my bad.
So what's the backstory for this game?
Your rich uncle Hugo has invited you to his mansion.
Wait, I thought you were Hugo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Hugo's uncle. I can't remember Hugo's uncle's name. I'm not even sure. Horace, I think. Yeah, Horace sounds about right.
Perhaps I should get Gabe back and get rid of this trained chimpanzee, because he's not very smart.
Well, no, because we skipped the whole intro bit.
Well, we talked over it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That it actually explains what's happening there while the music is bleating at you horribly. And in this one, you don't actually play as Hugo, you play as Penelope.
Yes, I have played this game a while back, because I'm quite into this kind of text interface adventure game. I think it's kind of a nobler adventure game interface than the point and click, you know what I mean? Yeah,
this one does have weird little elements, like, because it actually has pictures and graphics. Oh, yeah, Horace, yes, I was right. Normally in a text adventure game you type look, and it will explain all the different things that you can...
Oh my goodness, someone pinned a medal to Uncle Horace's chest and he collapsed.
Where's his parade?
And you've collapsed as well.
And, yeah, what I can only describe as a fantastic cutscene. This really was like the Final Fantasy VII of our generation.
Penelope's not doing much to endear me to her at this point.
She doesn't do much of anything, to be perfectly honest.
She just seems like a frigid, floaty kind of bitch.
Yeah, she's a stump of a character. And then there's me trying to leave, and it's like, no, you have to go over and solve the damn puzzles as we...
Nice hint, game. Nice blocking off of the maps there.
Oh, it's fantastically well organized, this game. And that's the thing, because in a text adventure game, you have to type look, and it'll tell you all the things you can interact with.
Yes.
This doesn't.
Right.
So it sort of relies on the fact that there are graphics. The thing is, the graphics are a mixed bag, and that sometimes they're actually quite good. Like, you can see that's a bird. Sometimes they're just so abortively bad, you have no idea what the thing you're trying to interact with is.
Absolutely everything else in the room?
Pretty much, yeah.
What?
Ooh.
I choose to believe that it's Penelope saying that.
There's me trying to kill the bird.
Yes, case in point.
I do an awful lot of stuff to try and spice up what's actually occurring on screen. Not an awful lot, but just a few things every now and again.
Is there something under the blotter? That was an old trick in this sort of adventure game.
No, but if you look at the desk, it opens up and there's matches. And you try to use the phone.
And you immediately drop the matches on the floor.
Yeah. Butterfingers. The line goes dead.
Oh my goodness. So presumably the police will now be sending someone, because that's policy when the line goes dead on 911 calls.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're not going to be taking many balloons from over there, missy.
Yeah, it would actually say that. So you can type it in and then wait to push enter until you actually near the thing. That's the other thing, too. You actually have to be relatively close to what you're doing.
Jesus, you must have the craziest calluses on your hands if the balloon just immediately burst the instant you touched it.
It's horrible harpy nails.
So is this one of those adventure games where you die every 5 minutes? From the stupidest, least signposted reasons?
What is actually occurring on screen?
What the hell is a Venus flytrap going to do to a grown human being?
Those don't even look like Venus flytraps.
They didn't look like anything.
Yes. A completely new creation to the universe.
They look like the recently spawned piranha plants from Mario.
They do look a little bit.
Piranha plants have just let off their cloud of spores for the spring.
They've attached to Earth.
And this is the
gritty reboot.
The beginning of the miracle of nature.
Bonk.
Yeah, it's doing that thing where perspective doesn't seem to be a factor.
Oh god, like, again, about the graphics thing is occasionally there are areas that have really awesome perspective because the background was done by someone who could draw. And then occasionally it looks like it was done by me and I can't draw.
You know, what I seem to remember about the first Hugo game is that some of it was like drawn like this incredibly badly, and some of it appeared to be clip art. I'm pretty sure on the opening screen of Hugo, the house you're about to go into is a clip art house.
Quite probably. I kind of wish they'd done that for this, to be honest. Oh, look, somehow I found the fucking way, and then look, I try to take mirror, and it actually snaps at me. That's just no mirror, like this. Yeah.
Oh, this game's getting sassy with you now.
It does that from time to time.
Do you have to type the whole thing, magnifying glass?
Yes.
Couldn't just type tape glass?
Nope. That's what I mean. You can't just type use dumbwaiter, which you would in any other game. I had to type get in dumbwaiter. And the same, there's a few other ones where you actually have to be really specific about what you're doing, and it's sort of irritating the first time you try to go through it.
You are stating like a bitch.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at this.
This room reminds me...
I managed to get out straight away anyway.
This room reminds me of navigating the tentacle maze in Space Quest 2.
No, there are things that will kill you, and that's the weird imbalance that the game has, is not everything kills you. Occasionally stuff kills you, and some of it's quite unintuitive as to what's actually lethal. There are a few areas which are just doom.
See, that's what I like about these text interface games. You just entered the command use such and such, and the game goes, sorry, you have to be more specific than that.
Yeah.
In point-and-click adventure games, you can pretty much just click everything on everything to brute force your way through the puzzles. Couldn't really do that with this.
That is one thing about this game. Use is not a used verb. It is...
That's pretty much the reason I used a text interface for one of my adventure games, and I ended up having use thing to do thing regardless, because I thought it was more user-friendly.
See, here's another piece of actually reasonably good background. And here's another thing. You have 3 locations you can leave from. Yeah. That's
great contrast.
Yeah, there's 1, 2. And now, if you head right, and why would you? Because these 2 ways lead the same way, you actually end up somewhere completely different with a necessary puzzle item. Those are meant to be Venus flytraps.
Of course they are.
Yeah, they're also lethal, and there is absolutely no... I want you to spot the graphical relevance between how close I get to them and when they kill me, because I couldn't locate it.
What's with all the hundreds and the thousands all over the bottom part of the garden?
I don't know, it's like an 8-year-old's birthday happened over there.
Oh, is that a magnifying glass lying on the ground?
Yeah, I thought it was a mirror. See, I don't know what I got close to there.
Yeah, could have been either of them.
Well, that's the thing. There is a prescribed path through these things like that. And it has no relation to...